Hello and welcome to the 7th edition of the International Festival of Media, curated by the Faculty of Journalism and Creative Studies, Jagran, Lake City University. My name is Hareeb Siddiqui, and joining me today is Shaurya Rao Nigam, co-founder and CEO of JustBath AI. JustBath AI is the world's largest video generative AI platform. Thank you for giving us your time, sir.
Thank you for having me here.
So I'll get into the questions.
Sure.
So my first question is, what was your thought process about the idea of JustBath and how did it come into existence?
Absolutely. So JustBath is how we spell it. The idea is putting emotions to AI. See, right now, the content and the information has not gone to the point where it is supposed to be. People like you, me, we are worried about our local environment. We are worried about our localities, and we need hyper local content. Why are creators becoming so hit? Because they talk to you in your own language. Unfortunately, a lot of media houses, the publications are not talk to you in the language that you understand. Still, unfortunately, in India, the English newspapers are called national newspapers and Hindi newspapers are called regional newspapers, right? But the point is that the regional does not stop at Hindi. In Hindi, there are like 600 plus dialects. Why are people not reporting into those dialects? Because the value, the ROI has been established yet. Because the cost of content creation is extremely high. Can we automate a lot of the processes and bring the cost down so that the ROI of content creation gets justified, and hence the content production can explode? That is the thought behind JustBath. We are trying to automate the content creation process so that a lot of hyper local content which never existed earlier starts getting reported, starts getting seen the light of the day. So that's the thought.
Sir, you made a really good point about vernacular languages, regional languages, and JustBath is one of the first platforms. It's a pioneer in promoting Indian regional languages in the media. So, is this something that you're very passionate about, and do you see JustBath having a lot of potential in reaching to rural and second-tier, third-tier city people who may not be as proficient when it comes to English, but if you give them the content that caters to them in their own language, it could be really appealing to them and welcome them to AI?
Absolutely. See, the idea of automation and technology is to empower everyone, right? The thought behind JustBath is similar. People who want to create content, businesses, smaller publications who want to report better, who want to get better understanding of the user, what's happening, they can use our platform, create content in the hyperlocal dialects, languages, and report. So that's the thought.
Sir, in terms of talking about the potential of JustBath, it's only a 1.5-year-old business, but looking at the success of something like ChatGPT, do you think JustBath has the potential to do just that in a video form?
Absolutely, that's the idea. We are supposed to be the algorithm for video, and right now we've not been able to achieve 1% of what we visualize it to be. Right, as I said, what we are catering to is we've automated the existing pipeline. A lot of new pipeline will get unleashed because of the simplicity in the process that we've created. You literally don't need to be a extremely skilled video editor to create engaging videos anymore. You can just use JustBath, do a bit of prompt engineering, and a video will get created. That is the thought. So yes, we have the potential to become almost as big as ChatGPT.
Sir, your business is still in its infancy stage. It's only a 1.5 years old. So talk to us about your journey into entrepreneurship, because before this you were working for companies and you were quite successful. And now you've started your own venture in an era where startups maybe are looked down upon and new businesses are not encouraged. So how did your journey go?
Well, for the record, we are a profitable business. We are not raising capital anymore, and we did not raise a lot of capital as well. See, the challenge is that as entrepreneurs, the recent behavior that we've seen in the market in the past 10 years is that even before people have an idea, they started looking for capital, and just because of their pedigree, their background, they used to get funded as well. We also got funded on a PPT, by the way. Our initial funding happened through friends and family, just with the thought that we are going to start something. We never even had an idea of what are we going to start back then. But the ethos was clear. that we are here to make a proper business, and business should pay for itself. You can't be paying investors, you can't be taking investors' money and paying for your business. So when I started, of course, I left a very lucrative career. I was out of the country, earning in dollars, literally enjoying on beaches. Most of the things that people aspire for. I came back to India, moved my family back here, and starting the building the business from scratch. I was the first person to be on board, of course, because I was the founder. And then today we have a team of 30 people, right? You have offices in Gurgaon, Lucknow, even Bhopal. Khushpreet is here, right? Uh, so see, the idea of was building Jazbat was, of course, to have something of your own. Been there, done that, understood the industry, knew the gaps, and given the rigor that I had built over the period in my head, I knew that whatever I would try, I would be able to do something, and hence the start. Thankfully, God has been kind, and we've become profitable as a company, and we are growing from here.
Sir, in this session earlier, you showed a demonstration of the Odisha TV AI anchor from Just Baat. What has been the reaction of the legacy and traditional Indian media towards a new and innovative technology such as Just Baat? Has there been resistance and skepticism, apprehension, or have they been very welcoming and accepting of it?
Well, initially there was a lot of resistance, no question. We literally struggled for the first 1 year of our operations. Nobody was ready to adopt us. Then, fear of missing out happened, and people started looking for us. And eventually, we were able to establish the value also. So today, we are being adopted at scale by a lot of bigger media houses. We work with 200, 250 plus of publishers, media companies out there already. And then we are growing. We are growing every day. So people have also started realizing that this is something that will just amplify whatever they are doing today. And it's a co-pilot. It is not here to replace you. It is your co-pilot. It is here to make you more efficient. That's where we are.
Sir, you also mentioned that it was inevitable that some jobs would be lost due to the advancement and integration of AI. Of course, I mean, talking from a journalistic perspective, aspiring journalists have shown a bit of concern that maybe their futures will be in danger because of the advent of AI. Do you think that it is possible for journalists to adapt and evolve to the AI era and coexist with AI instead of being phased out by them?
See, you have to coexist with AI. You don't have an option, to be honest. If you don't learn to coexist, you will be outdated, right? People who are fearful are the people who are not ready to evolve in their head. It is just the fear of unknown, right? Once you understand what the machine, what automation is offering, you would be able to adopt it better, right? The fear of adoption should not be there. And as I said, as journalists, you don't have to be fearful, because a lot of new opportunities will open up which were not there earlier, right? As technology advances, new things happen. For example, today we've got billion-dollar businesses called Zomato and Swiggy. Why did they happen? Because there was a smartphone. Had it not been for a smartphone, Zomato and Swiggy wouldn't have been there. And a lot of people, a lot of bikers who've got employment because of them wouldn't have existed, right? But if the restaurant owners would say that no, because of Zomato and Swiggy, our margins are being cut, that is just the process. A lot of cloud kitchens happened because of Zomato and Swiggy, right? This is just because of the technology advancement that happened. So as journalists also, a lot of new opportunities will open up. You need to learn to adopt, as individuals, as humans. This is just a initial influx of, the fear of unknown that is causing some distress. But eventually it will just become better. And businesses will grow because of AI. So would people, so would the jobs. So initial bloodbath will happen because people who are not ready to adopt might suffer, but people who adopt it will grow exponentially.
So generally in the human race, there is a fear of the unknown. People like Elon Musk and Sam Altman have talked about the potential threat that humanity faces on an existential level from AI. Of course, there's a fear that one day AI might overtake humanity and perhaps end up enslaving them or something on those lines. Is there a realistic fear of something like this happening? Is this scaremongering? Or do you think there's a possibility one day that humans could be subject to AI?
No, humans will be taken over by AI. There is no question. In fact, humans have already been taken over by technology. Can you live without your smartphone today?
No.
It is part of my anatomy already, right? What is this? The phone has taken over you. You can't live even an hour without glancing at your phone screen, right? Why? Because it offers you convenience. It would offer you whatever you want. It would offer you your banking transaction. It would offer you your food. It would offer you your travel, etc. Your connectivity with friends, talking to your mother. It just does everything for you, which is why you're a slave of your smartphone right now. AI is going to make the smartphone more intelligent. It is going to make it more better. It is, the automation is just going to be exponentially better. You will become a slave of it. You have to. There is no option. Of course, the option here is that are you cautious about your screen time today, for example, with your smartphone? Similarly, are you cautious about what AI puts in front of you? Are you also using your own head to cross check it, to cross verify it, instead of just consuming it as is? So, this is something that as humans we need to learn to evolve. For example, back in 2015, longer screen times was not a topic of concern. But in 2024, just 9 years, and I think both of us have lived during those 9 years, where we've seen smartphones being cool to smartphones being, a platform or a technology which we have to use it very cautiously. You can't give a smartphone to your kid beyond a point in time, right? You can't be using the smartphone 24 into 7. People are becoming aware of it, and there are checks and balances that are coming in place. So will happen with AI. I think it is just new right now. There are new fears that have popped up. Few fears will become, you know, true as well, but eventually people will learn to tame it. We are humans here. We've tamed elephants when there were no, there were no knives. We've tamed a tiger as well. It is just a machine. We'll be able to tame it.
Sir, my final question. The world will rapidly evolve because of the era of machine learning. Development will take place at a faster rate than ever before. Where do you see the world 10 years from now? And do you think AI will make the world a better place?
See, absolutely. Even digitization has made the world a better place. No, today you can order your medicines just by click of a button. That wasn't the case earlier. You can order your food. You just add more convenience. More convenience will be added with AI. So the world is going to become a better place. AI is here to help. AI is your co-pilot, right? And the evolution will just happen very rapidly. In fact, our parents, people who were born, who grew up in 70s versus us who grew up in the 90s versus you guys who possibly are growing up in 2000s. The evolution from 70s to 90s was still slower, but from 90s to 2000, the evolution rapidly scaled up, and it will just rapidly scale up further. It is bound to happen. You can't.
Sir, I'd like to thank you once again for giving us your time and your great insight. That was a fascinating chat.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great. It was a pleasure, sir. For more content like this, stay tuned to Lake City Live.